and good morning. Another writing vlog today, and we are going to be working on Into the Woods, hopefully for the last time as far as in wrapping it up for the first draft. I'm aiming to get some of Violet's chapters done, and then I have one more of David's to kind of just wrap it all up. And that's about it that I have planned for. And since once again they're more or less a rehash of scenes I've already gotten done, they should be relatively easy, so let's hope so. I want to say I have maybe 6 to 8 chapters in hers that I need to get done. So let's go ahead and start the day, and I will check in before the start. And we are about to start. So starting off point, we got 75 pages and 11,905 words. But to be fair, these are set up for a kid's book. So the page count is going to be inflated compared to the word count. So I think I counted 6 chapters that need to get done, which should hopefully get that way. Last time I didn't get as many done as I wanted to, but beggars can't be choosers. The goal today is to finish up this first book, rough draft at least, and I have an idea of where I want to start with Violet's point of view. I left off where they were headed to church, and so I already have a rough idea of how I'm going to go about it, but not as detailed, more rough than detailed. So let's see what we get, but this is the start. I'm gonna eat breakfast while I write, put on a playlist, and let's see where the day takes us. And until next check-in. And I'm done with the first writing block. Now, I did only get 2 chapters. One of them was a little longer, not as in my level of long, but as far as in longer than a lot of them, or at least on the longer side compared to a lot of them. But I did get done what I needed to get done and what I wanted. I always try to follow the rule of thumb of what is needed and what is serving purpose. So it served the purpose it needed to. So length or not, I'm not really worried. If they want to be longer, they can be longer. If they want to be shorter, they can be shorter. It just needs to feel like a chapter, feel like the right chapter, like as far as in putting in what needs to be put in. But I did get 11 pages done and 1,866 words. One idea that I thought would be fun at the end of this is I'm going to go ahead and format what I did today into my regular writing format and see compared to what I did as far as in what it came out kids format compared to my normal format, just to see how much I did compared to usual. I figured that would be a fun idea. But I also did realize that I had to go ahead and get down their grades just to kind of put a little note so I can remember it easier and not have to keep flipping back and thinking about that and just like, oh yeah, they're in 3rd grade, she's in 5th grade type deal. And I did also have to kind of make a little world building to where, because normally it's September and August is the school cutoff, so to make it to where David and Ember are not a year behind, I ended up making it to where June was the school cutoff, and since their birthdays are summer birthdays, they are a year behind in that kind of aspect. But I knew that they aren't, like, they're pretty smart kids, so I knew that that wouldn't make sense that they would be behind in that kind of sense. Maybe I was leaning towards the original idea of they do eventually go to regular school near high school, so maybe they could have been like behind, especially with there's some stuff that happens family wise, but I didn't want to go with that, so I figured, you know what, it makes sense to just go ahead and have the cutoff date pushed back a few months, because I mean it's a plausible reason to have it that way, but because of David's age, for one, David and Caroline are very close in age, so that wouldn't make sense to where if he's age is different that hers wouldn't be different, so they're more or less whatever I have to come up with has to be plausible for both. But I didn't want to change his age because it's very important for his age later down the line for other stories he's in to maybe not like make sense completely, but as far as in like, for example, Late Night Blossoms, he's turning to an adult, he's turning 18, but he still has one more year of school left, so I didn't want to adjust that because he wasn't graduating that year and because that wasn't a big deal or anything. And I don't know, it was important that he was going into his senior year and not that he was graduating his senior year. And I can't fiddle with the timeline as far as in his age for that, so I had to come up with a reason why he'd be a year behind and not necessarily finding, like, that made more sense to me. That broke less things that needed to be broke, that kept more dominoes in line that need to be there. So yeah, the cutoff age is in June for my world. We will have it, or at least they take place, or they live in Connecticut, so maybe in Connecticut. But that's also why he ends up graduating here early, because he does graduate early. And there was other things that I ended up having to try to adjust that, ironically enough, were not as much of a big deal to adjust than his schooling age. So yeah, definitely showed a little glimpse of my little reference sheet. It is a lifesaver if you are a writer or if you do OCs or anything. Having a reference sheet is such a lifesaver because I can come back to it. I do have to remember to update it because sometimes I will forget to put things down, or I'll put them down elsewhere, so trying to remember to keep it all contained at least in there along with everywhere else that it ends up getting put. But it does help for quick references and crossovers, as far as in having him in Late Night Blossoms, him and Violet in Late Night Blossoms, also in this series, like putting all the details in both places. That way when I need to go to a book that they're in, it's easier just to look at that book I'm working on instead of trying to figure out which book I put which information in. It just helps out a lot. And yeah, so definitely had to critique some details in this kind of ordeal. But that is it for this check-in, and I'm about to have lunch and start this next writing block, and it will be the same playlist, so you will not see that twice. But actually, you might get a second one because I still have to work on David's. I forgot. So there might be a shift in playlist, but not until after I get some writing done. And I am done. It is officially the first draft of Tales of a Young Lightbearer Into the Woods is done, and I'm excited because I think I found a little pleasant ending, a little bit of a wrap up. I knew I wanted a gist of what I was going to get for the ending. It was supposed to be something simple and sweet, and I wasn't going to necessarily do an ending kind of message, but it kind of came about. What do you think of it? I think it's relatively nice. I tried to make it a little bit more simplistic since it is for kids, but I'm excited. It was a really nice thing, and I'm trying to show the shift of the whole book. It was kind of, he was struggling with something, trying to make it more spiritual warfare, but kid-friendly, and so kind of showing the aftermath of how he's just kind of understanding that sometimes there's bad days, sometimes there's good days, and just focusing on the good days, and that being a really good reason why I like him as the main character, how I love and adore my sunshiny character, because he is a sunshine character, even though most of the time, a lot of times that I have things written of him, because he's dealing with a lot of heavy stuff. I both extended some point of views of his in Late Night Blossoms to kind of show that, his sunshiny part, and knowing that because of when you guys meet him initially, he's dealing with a lot of things and has been for a while. So it's kind of, he's struggling to keep on to that, but still trying hard to keep on to that sunshiny bit. But this being showing more so his sunshiny kind of characteristic, I thought would be a fun kind of deal, and why I adore him in general. But yeah, I'm excited. But that was the final count of the whole book for the first draft, at least. And of today, I got 25 pages, 4,396 words. But give me a second. Which, not bad. Regular formatting, it's 23 pages. So that's just 2 off. So I think that's still phenomenal, especially for writing sprint day. Trying to get my, like I said before, trying to get it up more. I used to get 30 on average, and I'm trying to get back to that, so I think 23 is relatively decent. So I'm excited. Hopefully this year is more pushing to 30 or more pages or close to it. Maybe we'll set a goal of 20 pages from here on out for every writing sprint day, but giving grace for the ones that can't reach that. That is it though. I'm excited for this book. I'm definitely going to work on trying to edit it this year after my sabbatical, which you have probably seen this during my sabbatical. I'm taking the sabbatical during February, so if this lands in February, then you're seeing that. If it lands afterwards, then I will be off, and I will try to start working on getting this. I don't know when it'll get published. That is a different timeline, but I'm going to at least get it edited a time or two, and then we will see where the Lord is willing it to be after that. But I have no reason to not write and not work on my end, at least until things do get published. So my philosophy is, why wait to write if that is all you can do? So I will doing my part on this end, and I will start trying to work on book 2 come fall. And that's going to be the deal, trying to get 1 book of this series done every year. That is at least the aim for now, and we will see how it goes from there. But until next writing vlog, I have no clue which book I will be doing, so we will see. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good whenever it is for you. It is night for me, so good night to you. Goodbye.